You're welcome to this lesson. I am Mayowa Adeyemo with the brand name English with RMG, and this video is proudly brought to you by IOTA Virtual Learning Platform. This video is the concluding part of the video that I made on hyperbole. So if you are yet to watch the first part, you can click on the cards on the screen now to watch, or you can go down to the description below to watch before you continue. However, if you don't mind continuing from where we left off, then get your writing materials and let's begin. Are you ready? Good. So, in the previous video, I stopped at explaining the question that I want to use to exemplify how to use hyperbole to create strong impression, to express strong emotions, and to add emphasis to a point. So we have write an article suitable for publication in a national newspaper on the growing incidence of drug abuse among the youth, stating the causes and suggesting ways it can be curbed. So let's look at my answer to this question. And I would like you to also pay attention to how I'm exaggerating some words or some phrases in order to make my point clear. So I have the bane of drug abuse among our youth has exploded into a pandemic of addiction. It is now a tsunami of devastation that is sweeping away the bright futures of the youth. It is a plague that is infecting our schools, our homes, our communities with shattered dreams and broken lives. The statistics are staggering. Millions of our young minds have lost and are still losing their lives to the abyss of addiction. Millions of lovely families are torn apart by the monster. So here, I'm able to underline pandemic, tsunami. Drug abuse is a bane in the society, yeah, but it is really not a pandemic. You all will remember the COVID-19 pandemic that happened in 2019, 2020. It was a pandemic. So drastic measures were put in place in order to control the what? The virus. So by exaggerating to say that drug abuse is a pandemic, I'm trying to say that it also needs what? Drastic measures before it will ruin all the lives of our youth. Do you understand? By also saying it is a tsunami, is a form of what? Hyperbole, exaggerating in order to make my emphasis. Do you understand? In order to create strong impression that this this issue of drug abuse is a serious issue that needs what? Drastic measures. I also try to exaggerate by saying millions of our young minds. If the statistics are taken, it might not really be millions. Do you understand? But by saying millions, it's kind of creating an impression that we have a big figure in front of us, so we really need to take what? Fast and drastic measures. By also saying millions of lovely families are torn apart. You know, exaggerating just to make my point clear, just to create the emphasis, just to create a strong impression about my point. Do you understand? Besides, drug abuse is a topic that you would want to be emotional about, especially when you've seen people who are affected by it around you. Do you understand? Naturally, you would want to be emotional about it, that something needs to be done as soon as possible in order to do what? To just curtail these menace in our society. So let's continue with the essay. I have of substance abuse, and thousands of lives are cut short by the deadly grip of overdose. It is a crisis that requires immediate attention, a war that requires a multi-pronged attack to vanquish the enemy of drug abuse and restore the promise of a brighter future to our youth. So also by comparing it to crisis and war, we all know that when there is a war, then they can't there's going to be social unrest. There's going to be different kind of problems that needs to be solved, and we would also need to maybe create panels for us to just find a way to resolve the issue. So by doing this, I'm also trying to emphasize my point that this drug abuse is a menace that we should not just fold our hands, or we should just take little measures and say, oh, we've done something. It is something that really needs all hands on deck. Are you following? So let's move on to the next question, which is Question 5, Section A, WAEC 2014. So we have write a story to illustrate the saying, the devil makes work for idle hands. So this is also a question from your YSSC past question. This is a form of a story. The previous one we discussed was an article, but this one is what a story. Let me quickly say this here. If you are yet to watch the first video, I'm pronouncing this as hyperbole because that is the correct pronunciation. I know that the common pronunciation is what? Hyperbole, but that is not the correct pronunciation. The correct pronunciation is what? Hyperbole. Hyperbole. So henceforth, do not say hyperbole. Say what? Hyperbole. So let's see how I'm going to answer this question. We have, as soon as Ade's school break began, he found himself with an ocean of free time. So this is also a form of what? Exaggeration. When I say ocean of free time, just to emphasize the fact that he had lots of what? Free time to himself. So in continuation, we have, with no structure or purpose to anchor him, he felt like an abandoned child, drifting aimlessly on the tide of boredom. His mind, once a razor-sharp sword, grew dull and rusty from disuse. His thoughts also became dry like the Sahara Desert. That is when the devil, that sly and cunning foe, saw his chance to strike. He began to whisper sweet ideas of mischief. So we are going to continue on the next slide, but let me explain this first. So if you look at what I've done here and what I've done previously, you'd realize it's not as if all your sentences are going to be exaggerated just because you want to use hyperbole. No. It's just that you need to learn how to insert it where it is needed. When you need to create a strong impression, when you need to add emphasis to something, when you need to express a form of strong emotion, consider using hyperbole. So it is not like you are going to make all your sentences exaggerated or all your sentences must be a form of a figure of speech. No. Figure of speech are just to add flavors to your write-up. Do you understand? So that you can create vivid imagery, so that you can express yourself better with little words, with little expression. You can make your audience or your reader understand you better. Do you understand? So I also compare how dry his thought is to Sahara Desert. It is also a form of what? Exaggeration. So let's continue. And Miriam into Ade idle hairs, and he tempted him down a path of trouble and tribulation. So, it is a story. And let me say this again. When it comes to your section A, you are at liberty with creativity. You can come up with your own story anyway. Do you understand? So I've only written my own story just for you to see the examples. So let's move on to the next question, which is question 4 from section A, WAEC 2016. And it reads, you are the main speaker in a debate on the topic, education is the best legacy a parent can give a child. Write your argument for or against the motion. So this is a form of what? A debate. I'm purposely picking different types of question from the past question. Sometimes you have informal letter, formal letter, debate, speech, article, then a story. Do you understand? So let's see what I have as my own answer. So we have, education is the master key that unlocks the treasure trove of opportunities. It is a golden ticket to a world of limitless opportunities. It is the fall that propels a child amazing heights of success. And it is the magic wand that transforms their dreams into reality. Without education, a child is like a ship without a compass, lost at the sea. So, yeah, it's a form of what? A debate. You also need to consider the type of write-up that you are trying to write when you are trying to answer the question. When you want to start a debate, you need to start with convincing points. You need to start with captivating point. Do you understand? In order for you to create an impression, for your listener to keep listening to you. So by saying that education is a golden ticket to a world of limitless opportunities, it's a form of exaggeration to just create my strong emphasis that, education is the best thing that you can give to a child. Also, by saying that it's the magic wand, we all know that education takes time. And it's also take what? Several processes. You go to your elementary school, your secondary school, university, before eventually you can start opening the doors of these limitless opportunities. So it is not really a magic wand. But by saying it is a magic wand here, I'm just exaggerating, using hyperbole in order for me to emphasize my what? My point. And in order for me to create a great impression that yes, education is worth whatever it is that you need to give in order for you to get it, or in order for you to give it to your children. So let's continue. We have, but with education, they become a titan of knowledge and a giant of innovation. Education is the greatest gift a parent can bestow on their children, on their child. It is a legacy that will outlast them and a touch that will illuminate the path for generations to come. So this is my own write-up, and this is the a way that I've been able to do it inside hyperbole in order for me to create my own impression. Can you come up with your own write-up as well? I want to believe you are watching this lesson with your pen and your other writing materials. Can you just try to look at that question and try to write a paragraph and try to use hyperbole to create strong impression just for you to practice? Let's see if you really can do that on your own. Remember, you don't have to exaggerate everything, just one or two in order for you to make your point clear. So let's move on to the next question. We have question 1 from section 1, WAEC, section A, WAEC 2017. So we have, your father has just built a new house for the family. Write a letter to your elder brother who lives abroad describing the new house and the prestige it had accorded your family. So this is a form of a what? Informal letter, because you are writing it to your elder brother. So this is just the things that I want to believe that you already understand. The questions are not going to tell you what you need to do, but from reading the question, you'll be able to decipher, oh, this question is an article. This question is a speech. So I need to make sure that it is in format of a what? A speech. This question is a formal letter. I need to make sure that the structure is in form of a what? A formal letter. So these are the things that you should always keep in mind when you're answering your question. Do you understand? So another thing is, I'm purposely picking these questions from different formats, formal, informal, so that you understand that you can actually adapt this use of what? Hyperbole to any type of write-up. Do you understand? So let's see my answer to that. We have, our new house is absolutely incredible. It's so massive that it's like a small town with rooms upon rooms that seem to stretch on forever. The floors are so shiny that you can see your reflection in them, and the lights are so bright that they are like miniature suns. Everyone in the neighborhood is green with envy, and people are coming from miles around just to catch a glimpse of it. So, that particular question is a form of description. They said, describe the new house. So when you are describing as well, you want to create an impression. When you are trying to describe something, before you can even describe that thing, you must have an impression about that thing, whether you think it's good or bad, whether you think it's beautiful or ugly. So whatever impression you have about it, you also want to create that impression in the mind of your listener or your reader. So in order for you to do this, you can actually use what? Hyperbole. By saying a small town with rooms upon rooms that seem to stretch on forever. It is a form of what? Exaggeration, just to describe that the house is what? Large. Do you understand? So by also saying so shiny that you can see your reflection in them, there's no way you can see your reflection in floors. The height of it is you'll see your shadow. Do you understand? So, but it's just to exaggerate to create a strong impression that, oh, the house floor are what? So shining. Also, by saying that the lights are so bright that they're like miniature suns, is also a form of what? Exaggeration, just to create that impression of the house is what? Beautiful. Are you following? So now, in continuation, we feel like kings and queens living here with our dad. As the emperor, who's made all our dreams come true. It's like a fairy tale come to life, and we are the luckiest family in the world. So, you know, look at the way I've been able to use hyperbole just to create an impression, especially when the question is asking specifically that I should do what? Describe. So when you want to describe, actually, understand that you want to create what? An impression, and try to use figure of speech as what? As needed. So let's move on to the next question, question 3, section A, WAEC 2020, which is also going to be our last question. Yeah. So we have, as the senior prefect of your school, write a letter to the principal pointing out at least two practices among students that should be discouraged and two habits that should be promoted among teachers. So this is a form of a what? A formal letter. You also need to always try to interpret the question. For this question, you need to also write from your perspective because it is asking for your opinion as the senior prefect. That is, from your observation in the school, what are the things that you think needs to be adjusted? Do you understand? So let's see what I have as my response. So we have, I'm writing to bring to your attention two bad practices among students that are like a cancer, slowly devouring the very fabric of our school's discipline and integrity. Firstly, the rampant use of smartphones during class hours is a ticking time bomb, waiting to explode into a full blown crisis of distractions and decreased productivity. Secondly, the blatant disregard for school rules and regulations is a festering wound. So look at my hyperbole here, like a cancer. That is to express strong emotion. That is, I feel like this thing is making our integrity and discipline to what? Deteriorate. Just like cancer would make anybody's health deteriorate at a very fast rate. Do you understand? So by using hyperbole like this, by exaggerating like this, you can create what? Strong impression. You can express strong emotions. Do you understand? And to make your listener understand the point of view where you are talking from. So in continuation, we have poisoning the minds of impressionable students and turning them into rebellious renegades. On the other hand, I strongly believe that teachers should cultivate the habit of offering constructive feedback, which is like oxygen, breathing life into students' fragile egos and nurturing their growth. Additionally, teachers should emulate the habit of punctuality, which is like a golden key, unlocking the doors of respect and trust in the eyes of their students. So, also by saying that constructive feedback is like what? Oxygen. Obviously, you can't breathe without oxygen, but you can actually live without the word constructive feedback. But by exaggerating like this, it's just to show how important I think constructive feedback is. So by saying that, I'm trying to create strong impression. I'm trying to express my own opinion, and I'm trying to make my audience understand the point of view from which I'm doing what? I'm looking at the matter at hand or the issue at hand. Do you understand? So I hope you enjoyed this lesson. If you have any question, do not hesitate to keep it down in the comments section below. I would also love you to go back to your book. If you would use any of the questions that I already used, it is fine. You can also pick any question from your past question and try to practice. Practice makes perfection. It is not enough that you watch this video. It is not enough that you watch my own examples. Try to write yours as well. If you are yet to subscribe to my channel, kindly do so now and tell a friend to tell a friend about IOTA Virtual Learning Platform and English with RMG. If you are yet to like, please do drop a comment and subscribe. And please share with your friends and classmates. Let them benefit as well. Do not just keep this to yourself once you come across it. Share with your friends, family, and classmates. Thank you for joining this lesson. I sincerely wish you success in all of your endeavors. Bye for now.